Alright, alright. Saucepan, patapons, everyone else. Hey there, y'all. How is it going? Today is a Sunday, so I'm going to be sitting down doing some things. The request today is a really late one. It's a very recent one. Powerful wizard fighting taxes. I have no idea how I'm going to be drawing this, but this is the task at hand today. We got a healthy crop of questions going on here today, so let's just go ahead and let's go. Start with Micofire. I had a real music request and question thing in mind. First, I have to fix the damage my brother caused, and then we've got a little bit of an HTTPS YouTube.com. Oh man, yeah, original Ghostbuster theme song. It is the original one. Ghostbuster is the series. I just can't have the music too high, I don't know, and I don't want any surprises. Anyway, some question, what's your favorite chess piece? Probably, and this may come as a surprise, but the Rook. I just like the idea of a big tower. And in battle chess, like, the Rook would become a big, like, golem monster, would walk around, then he would, like, devour pieces, and that was super rad. And so, yeah. And I just like the simplicity and how powerful a piece it is by just being able to just, you know, move laterally wherever it wants. I mean, the Bishop, our theme, is also pretty powerful because they move in diagonal, but there's something to say about the simplicity of just going, you know, in the basic cardinal directions. When you're the only one who can really do it, other than the Queen, but the Queen doesn't matter. P.S. Don't write Patreon questions while half asleep. Probably a good idea. I guess it depends on what you're setting out to do. But it seems to be a good idea. Adamdum! Especially when said questions while fairly obscure RPGs you just remembered. Yes. So, yeah, that's a thing that happened. And the Rook, I don't know. Also, I don't know where the name of the Rook comes from. In French, all the names are different. Well, some of them are different. Like, Rook is just tool, which would translate to tower. So, I have no idea what a Rook is, but more importantly, the Bishop in French the piece is called le fou, and so the jester, basically. I don't know if there's supposed to be some kind of commentary there in the translation that happened, like centuries and centuries and centuries ago, but there we go! Belmore is next. He's all greeting Cow, and I'm all like, greetings back, but more importantly, he has music. I think we're on the down spot of this part of their song, so let's time to load this up. While he asks my opinions on ducks! Your opinion on ducks. I think ducks are a pretty crazy animal. Without going into, you know what, I apologize for ending you early, but you're the Ghostbuster song. Let's listen about sinister ducks instead. Oh, I heard this in an AMV Hell, one of the AMV Hells. I just never knew what was the source of this, and honestly, I still don't kind of really. So, my opinion, I think ducks are pretty neat. They're birds, the little ducklings, when they follow their mother, it looks pretty cute. And there are studies that, you know, basically say that mallard duck tend to exhibit strange behaviors. Let's put it that way. I mean, ducks is encompasses a very, very wide range of different birds. So just having an opinion on duck is I feel a little misleading. With that said, though, it's kind of interesting how, like, in a lot of popular media, ducks are seen as really angry, like, very emotional birds. Like, if I ask to think about a duck character, chances are high that you'll think of either Daffy Duck or Donald Duck, which are both, you know, their main characteristic is how they are basically ruled by their emotions and tend to go at a tantrum that are very, sometimes, very vivid, very animated. I'm not sure why is that. I know that ducks and like other similar waterfowl are like some of the rare animals will confront humans. And a Canadian goose, if it gets mad at you and starts to attack you, is gonna get really, really scary. That is a guaranteed thing. But I'm just wondering where. I guess maybe that is from where it came from. They were just like, what's an animal we can have? And then there was a duck, and then there was the story of the ugly duckling. It turns out wasn't a duck, was another bird, another waterfowl. But, I mean, duckling's pretty cute. I don't know what a baby swan looks like, though. I will be perfectly honest. Would you play as a duckman, or the rules, as they are called, if given the opportunity? Picture a surly tribal Donald Duck hunting undead in the swamp, and you have a pretty typical the rules. Sure. I don't know what else, what my other options would be, but a tribal Donald Duck is kind of an interesting concept. This week's question inspired by a small sliver of RuneQuest, RPG's Glorantha setting. Also in Glorantha, there is a culture that utilizes dog-sized cats called Alanxes, in much the same way we use dogs and consider dogs to be a distasteful creature. That sounds pretty rad. One day you're gonna run out of RPGs. Maybe not. There are a billion of them. But no, I did not know about that at all. But that just seems like such a weird thing. Like, I don't know. If I was tasked with creating a fantasy creature, I just don't feel like ducks would be the first thing I'd go with, for the simple fact that, intelligent duck has been kind of codified. Like, you said it yourself right there by comparing it to Donald Duck. Like, there's these rules set in stone. I don't know, because ducks they're fun animals. They look goofy. They have interesting genitalia. I mean, that's just a fact. They're weird animals. Meatball Rider, Dear Cal again. It's the powerful wizard primetime power hour spectacular Eraton Neon Deluxe Carnival Dark Golden Circus the Wonderful Part 3 in parentheses. After much indecisiveness, I found a music. Congratulations on finding a music. That is a fairly hard task to accomplish occasionally. So let's put it here. Look. What? Lack of Afro, Rodrigo. I do not know this. You know what? I'm digging this. This is pretty good. Alright. 1. After a spin of the powerful wizard roulette, you are granted the power to instantly know where you've seen someone before. How does this impact your life? Sad to say, probably fairly little. Unless it works on the internet, and so suddenly whenever someone posts something, like on a video or something, then suddenly I know that it is someone that I know, and not just a complete stranger, but otherwise I'm not seeing that having that big of an impact at all myself. 2. The wizard questions often have powerful wizards in the question, but you'd think you would notice if there was a recycled wizard's question in the mix. Honestly, it depends. Some of them have been pretty memorable, but I think if there were some repeats, I might not actually notice. The fact that it's a question, that it's a wizard or not, doesn't change much. But it's that a lot of the questions can get fairly abstract in nature, especially when wizards are used to create the situation. So, I could see it happening. I could see it happening to me not noticing. Or like maybe it's gonna be a situation where I kind of act a little bit weird, like you can kind of tell that I'm not quite sure. I can see that happening more than anything, really. Yes. 3. A powerful wizard is going to bring back the fast and fashion of powerful decade like the 80s, 90s, etc. but for whatever reason lets you pick. Why does he do that? What area did he choose? Well, you see, the powerful wizards can get powerfully bored with their, unlimited powerful powers. And so sometimes, they just kind of lose track of what's ridiculous or not. Maybe he figures that, if he's gonna be causing rampant, cultural damage, it'd be fun if he would, use as if you asked a normal person, maybe you'd get an actually wise decision or something, or like someone who actually cares. But in my case, I don't really care about fashion. I just wear what I want, and I want people to just wear what they want. So in other words, probably something in the 90s, without me admitting to it. So so because it wouldn't be necessarily affected by taste, but by sheer, I don't know, man, like disinterest. Maybe a wizard, hopes that the result in itself would end up becoming interesting. That's the best reason I could come up with myself, but honestly, it is hard for me to say otherwise. I feel like it's a bad idea for me to question the reasons why a given wizard would be compelled, to ask a specific person to do a specific task. More often than not, the actual reason is completely beyond actual comprehension. 4! Does the machination of a powerful wizard called Powerful Wizard, due to the machinations of a powerful wizard called Powerful Wizard, you are granted a single one-use shield that will protect you from oddly specific unfortunate situations, but only once. You can pick from jumping a shark, losing at least 1 centimeter of skin. Ew. 1 centimeter is a lot. Only being able to think of bad excuses, or one specific type of maiming of your choice. What do you pick? Honestly, the 1 centimeter of skin thing seems the grossest to me. I'm gonna go with that. 1 centimeter is a lot. I'm assuming you don't mean 1 centimeter deep, because that would be crazy. You'd be going past the muscles. But, 1 centimeter is a lot. I don't know, man. That's the... 1 centimeter square is what? Your pinky nail or something? That's a nice chunk, I'd pick that. I'd pick that over everything without hesitation. Yo. 5, powerful wizard, to which I answer yes and yes. 6, an eccentric powerful wizard comes along. It turns out he is a collector of retro skeletons. He offers to trade your skeleton for a new skeleton out of material of your choosing. What are you going to do? I would research what would be the consequences of having a bone skeleton that is made out of something not bone. How, the classical nerd example is how Wolverine's bone is made of metal? I don't know if, if my bones are made of metal, would I be able to move the same way? Would my body not be significantly heavier and thus much harder to actually move around? I want to take these into consideration before I make that kind of decision. Well, then again, you do get people who get, metal hips and stuff. But, would a whole skeleton of metal be able to stand? I'm not sure. So yeah, what I would do? I would ask for time to do the proper amount of research before making my decision. 7, sometimes powerful wizards seal or are sealed into objects, because that's just the proper disposal of people. If you were to be sealed in an object, what would your objective preference be? Why would I be allowed to choose? That seems like a weird thing. If the idea is to seal me, I guess it's nice of them to seal me into something useful. A modem, so I can access the internet. So you know what? I might be sealed away forever. At the very least, I'll be entertained. Magical modem that doesn't need to be plugged anywhere. 8, the powerful salesman wizard is back. How much would you pay for the power to get any joke? You do not need context to get the joke, but you do need to understand what it says, so you can't joke translate. What? $5. Let's be honest. Like, sure, it's kind of a neat skill, but it's not something you actually. Maybe up to 20, but I would try to negotiate first. Xerix, music requests. I don't know who the guy singing is, but he sounds awfully familiar. I don't know why I use that voice, because I don't know what it is. I never check these links before starting. It's always a surprise. That's me! Slash Prask. Man, 2010. I probably listened to this, right? Let's see if I'm in the messages somewhere. Let's see. This is super old. No, I didn't comment. Does anyone recognize any of the... This is so familiar! This guy... This started as, I think, as a generic Ka. Oh, what was the source of this? Oh, man. Question, if you were a character in the story of Travesty, what would your borrowed powers be? What sprite would you be cosplaying as? Kirby. Man, if you get Kirby powers, dude, you can do pretty much anything you want. And also, you know, you just devour your enemy's whole in one shot. It's the best. You can get the hammer or a sword whenever you want to, and spin around and fly. Like, Kirby, I would basically be Spambabar. Although, as a sprite, maybe I could get something cuter, like one of his animal friends, like the giant hamster, or the male calico cat that is gigantic. Actually, it would probably be a good idea. Yeah, the big cat from Kirby 3. Yes, Gato, I think, is his name, maybe, which is cat in Spanish, but I'm not sure anymore. Yeah, yes, there we go. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just kind of listening. The song. It's kind of weird when you get like spoken parts in it. The next, like, okay. So I'm gonna skip two things while this is going on because a lot of them are related to music. So let's just go down a little bit. I'm just gonna put a little marker here. In Ramos Refusal, where do babies come from? Well, obviously, they come from the hive that, you know, the bees that live by the bay set up either in the trees or in an old person's attic, and they haven't noticed yet. Why Marseille's all best show this season? When there's JoJo's going on, shame on you. We'll see. I don't know how to interpret this emoticon. This thing here. This is a complex emoticon that I cannot really just kind of like speak out about. It just doesn't happen. Also, there's an Ace Attorney anime which is incredibly faithful to the source, hampered by half the dubbed episodes not using the localized name. But Aaron's also a big problem with the Ace Attorney anime, the very kind of bad animation quality. Like, I heard that as a critic being used quite a lot, and basically is what kept me from actually trying the series, that and not really having any attachment to the games. In addition, I believe that on Crunchyroll, you have a choice of whether you want to use... Oh wait, the dub you're saying, because I was about to say you have a choice between the subs if you want to use the Japanese names or the English ones. But I wasn't aware that they just flat out did the dubs with the Japanese names and that. So also, I wasn't aware it was dubbed. Huh. later, Why Marseille came back and was okay. I have to concede that this week, Luluco was a clear winner. Given that the choice was between listening to Don't Lose Your Way and watching people stab themselves in the eyeball, this was a given. See, that wasn't even a question, but I added in because to show that I was right. No, for serious though, Uchu Patrol Luluco is absurdly good, to me at the very least. I haven't enjoyed watching a thing in a while. Well, okay, there was One Punch Man back in autumn, but Luluco is way closer to the kind of humor that I really like to enjoy, so yes. Going back in time here with Jam, who had a music request with a slowed-down version of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze Chaos Canopy, I did. Oh man, slowed-down music can be pretty rad, so I'm expecting Mue Radness or something. Oh geez, 7 minutes. I might have to cut it short. I'm kinda digging the sound, honestly, though. Something chill going on. Be Kamikaze has the music that's gonna have to wait. Music, because sounds arranged in particular ways, can be aesthetically pleasing to the human sense of interpreting sound waves. Accurate. By the time this video will be out, I'll be on break, so on that train of thought, were there any projects you remember from school well, like either for being really terrible or really fun? There's one particular school project that I'll always remember, just for how much of a disaster it was for me. Because you see, like, back in high school, you know, I was always, you know, I was expected to do good at the arts thing, because, I don't know, like, I drew a lot, and people were aware of that, and, you know, I was not a class pet, but kind of close to the art classes, because I was way into it. It was like the only classes I was into, to be honest. So you know that was fine. That was dandy. But once upon a time, there was a moment in time space where we had basically like one of those like apprentice teacher things, whose correct way to call I completely forgot. That's just not coming back to my head. Anyway, yeah. So that person made us do a project where we were to do like basically like do paper mache critters, like basically roll up paper maches into balls and then using wires and whatnot assemble them together to make some kind of, you know, like crazy animal monster kind of situation. And honestly, yeah, in theory it could look pretty cool, but for whatever reason I would not be able to explain to you why, but my thing looked nothing. Like, I could not make it work at all in the slightest to make it look good. Like, and it's only, like, you know, making spears and just arranging them together to make some... And, like, that whole project was basically, like, an entire, not session, but what's, like, season? Third of the school year? Like, I forget. It's not a season, but whatever. A term, but it's not real. I mean, it's a term. Anyways, it did not go well, and it was a disaster. Like, I remember one of my schoolmates was like, hey, Raukau, even though your name didn't exist back then, can I see yours? I did. It's super cool. And then I was like, no, it's like super garbage. Then she was like, oh, but you're the one saying that. Actually, I bet it's because it's super cool. And then like showed it because it was like in the storage closet. And the answer was, you know, the rebuttal was complete silence. It wasn't just me being a butt. It was just actually legit pretty bad. That happened. But it's okay. To use an example of a good also in high school, my last year of high school in art, we actually had, like, the last session was computer animation, and I did something that people felt legit impressive. Unfortunately, I have no trace of it anymore I had it for a while, but since then, like, it has completely disappeared. It's gone, and I just do not have access to it. Something that I would have put online, like on my YouTube channel, go like, oh man, come laugh at a thing I did when I was an edgy teenager. But no, it's lost to the sands of time. It was really good. People, like strangers, would look at it and go like, what? But I don't know. It's lost. There is no more. The end is now. But not the end of this. Also, the Overwatch beta was this weekend, and I played a ton of it. FPS games probably aren't your cup of tea, so I won't go into detail on that front. But from a purely design point of view, which character do you like the most? Here's a group shot of them. You don't need no names. Just go look. Hey, I like that one. And then there is basically a link to a file on the siliconangle.com web space. Actually, you might be curious to know, not curious to know, but surprised to know that I'm actually fairly well versed in the Overwatch cast, because when I first learned of this series, like just when it was announced with the trailer and stuff, I thought the character design was super cool. And then I was disappointed when I learned that it was for first-person multiplayer games. Like, man, what? Really? I like the device diversity and body type, but character I always thought was super cool. There's a little robot duder in the middle here. Like, if you go between the W and the A and go straight down, there's that robot, like, with yellow pants. His name is Zenyatta, and I think that character, in terms of design space, in terms of concept, is amazing, because it is a robot that has found enlightenment. It is a religious robot, but like not in like the more like Asian religious, where it's not really like religion like the way we understand like Christianity, but more like in a more Zen kind of way, like in the meditative kind of way. And I find just the sheer, like, he wasn't programmed to be meditative. It wasn't programmed, like, it's the idea of an AI finding enlightenment as a concept, that an AI would be so advanced that could happen, I find is fascinating. And also his animations are super cool, because he does all these crazy hand motions to throw spheres at people, because that's why you want him on a team. The reason why you want a robot priest on your team in your war fictional game is to throw spheres everywhere. I mean, it goes without saying. But yeah, he's pretty cool. He's a pretty round robot. He's got that bead necklace thing, and he throws the bees around. That's what he does. Man, sometimes YouTube is really bad about just flooding you with requests of like that one thing. Like, there's like, you accidentally click on a thing at some point, and then suddenly it's like, whoop, all suggestions are the exact same thing forever. Makes all this wall of thumbnail look so awkward sometimes. Here's B. Kamikaze's musical request. It's a robot hand holding a CD, unless it's an armor. Shin Megami Tensei 4, Cathedral of Shadow 3. All these numbers. I've completely lost track of time because of numbers. Okay, I need to go back a little bit here. Gonna get down a little bit. Gotta go to Micafire a little bit. He's got a plain old music request, but the music is gonna have to stop a little bit. And then for some reason he writes down best equals least crap. So maybe it's because of these questions. I don't know. Run-of-the-mill questions. One, why are you going to get one of those USB N64 controllers for Star Road LP? Do those exist? And how cheap are they? Because that seems like it would be potentially a pretty expensive thing to purchase for one game. Since, anyways, for like computer games and stuff, it's a good idea to have a dual analog joystick, so I was thinking about getting, a more modern controller, like either Logitech like I'm used to, or maybe trying like an Xbox situation kind of controller, since I know those are compatible with Windows PCs. I was thinking about going that direction, using one of those to play Star Road. But I don't know, maybe that doesn't work very well, maybe those are actually kind of awkward and doesn't quite work. This is a realm where I know essentially nothing. So if you do have knowledge in that sense to impart, please tell me. And I'm not just saying that to you, of course. I'm extending that to everyone, because I just don't know. I just don't know. 2. Which of these activities would you most likely partake in? Bungee jumping, parachuting, or zorb-balling? I don't know what's a zorb-balling, but that sounds pretty rad, so I'm gonna take a chance and get to that, because the other 2 are kind of scary looking. I don't like heights. I wouldn't say I'm afraid of heights, but I'm definitely afraid of falling. Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how high would you rate your overall genre savviness? I'd say it's pretty high. Like, assuming that 1 is low and 10 is high, like, I put myself... I guess it depends on the genre, but, like, a good 7 or 8. You know, I'm not of perfect savviness, but I think I'm up there. 3.5. How much does the aforementioned savviness impact your consumption enjoyment of fiction? Very little. I am gifted with the ability of really shutting down my brain if it helps me enjoy something that I am quite enjoying. Like, what happens that I'll enjoy something and it's gonna be good and I'm gonna be happy about it, and that is rad. What happens that afterwards, if I am to think about what I have watched, that's when everything kicks in. But on the moment, no matter if it is playing a game and it's not being LP'd, or watching a movie or a show, I will try at the very least to just let the show think for itself. And for the most part, I tend to be, you know, fairly good at that. It's afterwards. But at the very least, during the spectacle itself, things should be alright. And that's pretty much how I want it. Because, like, some people, like, they don't, like, they're not gonna watch a thing because they're like, oh, it's just this and that. Like, to use a concrete example, I know one person who didn't want to watch Attack on Train because, like, oh, it's just a zombie show, it's probably dumb, I know what are zombie show tropes, and so I am not interested. See, I just thought, you know what, okay, zombies are a thing, whatever. I just decide to watch the first episode and just let it speak to me, putting my own preconceptions and just put them in a box somewhere else and just enjoyed it for what it is. And, you know, it's a show that I am quite enjoying this spring. Because it's really silly, early aughts, just violence for violence sake fun. It's just, and that's the thing, a lot of people, I believe, are too quick on just analyzing things for the sake of it, when it's really not necessary. Just, well, I mean, like, do it as much as you want after the fact, but while you're watching something, just let the thing wash over you. Just let it flow and enjoy it for itself, or don't. I mean, some things are bad and you're not going to be able to enjoy them, and that's going to happen too. But that's another thing. Like, if the show's going to be bad, let it be bad on its own weakness, on its own quote-unquote strength, on its own terms. And have your opinion based on it itself as much as you can. I know it's a hard thing to do, but I think it is sometimes a necessity. I can get to your music request, which you said is plain and old. Where's the link? I don't know. I know where it is. It's in the text file. That's to the right of where all the things go on to get gone. Lisa, the Joyful OST. Kill Chom Deluxe. She has a really huge head compared to her torso, man. Mikofar finishes with 4. A powerful Chronomancer decides that you deserve a break and magics you an extra hour of free time. How to use this chronological anomaly? Honestly, I would probably could be using an extra hour of sleep every day. So at the very least, until I get my sleep cycle back into function, I would probably... Pretty good music this video game has. Oh, that's kind of going in the situation here. Alright, those air horns. Alright, okay, I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it. But yeah, so at first sleep at the very least. Afterwards, honestly, it would, like, if this sounds super lame, but I would probably use it to actually get to, you know, day-to-day house chores that I am very keen on kind of putting aside to basically do other things. These are really boring answers, but these are the most honest answers too. Alex Diener! Hi Al, Cow. Hello, Alex. When you sit down to record a video, are you always ready to go right away? There's sometimes take a moment to get into the right frame of mind. Considering I've been doing this for many years, at this point, for the most part, I just kind of, like, it's easy for me to just kind of, like, take a second, breathe in, and let's go. We're doing a thing. We're doing a thing. However, I will say that, like, in my daily morning routine, basically, like, it has always been like this for years now, where I take my morning shower, and then afterwards, like, I dress up, and then I start to record. So whether I want to or not, like, my psyching up moment, if you will, happens while I'm in the shower. Like, I sometimes think about what game, like, what I'm going to be doing in the game, maybe try to anticipate a little bit what to expect, just kind of like put myself in the situation as much as I can. So that's when that happens, and once I'm done, I'm dressed up, I sit down in my chair, I open up my program, and I'm ready to go. But otherwise, when that's not applicable, like for example these Sunday afternoon recording for the Patreons, I just, at this point it's experience. I just sit down, I know what I need to get to, I know what, you know, and I just kind of, I sit, takes a second, and the game is on. But that's experience. That is pure experience and sheer force of will sometimes. It's hard to do when you're sick, but when I have in mind that something has to be done, it has to be done. The Lovely Penguin! Looks like a good selection of games lined up. I agree, The Lovely Penguin. I want to say, I'm really happy with the overall results of the Patreon A-side vote. One day we're gonna get back to mixed sides votes, eventually, maybe, hopefully. Has the music of the Mechanical Kingdom of Radiata Historia. No, Radiant Historia. Radiator History. The OST Mechanical... I heard this. I heard the song multiple times, I'm pretty sure. What do you consume to wake up in the morning? Coffee, tea, energy drink, something else, or nothing at all? If you don't need caffeine in the morning, I envy you. As for me, I can't get enough coffee. I just love the flavor and aroma. I do not drink anything caffeinated. Basically at all. Well, that used to be true. So, as y'all know, for a big chunk of my life, I was straight edge, and that included not drinking anything that had caffeine in it. Since then, I've mellowed out a lot, and, like, I'm gonna drink, like, soda that has coffee in it. Not coffee, but caffeine. But I still do not ever drink coffee itself, nor tea, nor energy drink, nor anything purposely for the purpose of, you know, like getting a jolt or something. In the morning, I'm gonna drink either orange juice or chocolate milk. And like I said, like in the evening, I might get myself one can or one small bottle of some kind of cola or soda or something. That's it. So that is the sum total of all my caffeine intake. I don't know. I never really had to have all-nighters when I was a kid, or when I was a teen, or when I was in college. So I never had the need, quote unquote, to consume coffee. So I never like got that habit going. So it's just not a need I have in my adult life. It turns out. I'm pretty happy about that, to be perfectly honest. Filthy Pot has a musical request. It's gonna have to wait a little bit. And I don't have a question this week. I try not to force it. I'd rather ask nothing than ask something totally pointless. That said, I'm going through a rough patch. My mom has been hospitalized for the 4th or 5th time in 6 months, and I'm just exhausted. Any kind of thoughts from the Patapon/Talkhouse fam would be much appreciated. Y'all are great, and I'm proud to be part of this community. Man, well, Philby Pot, my thoughts are with your mother. Please keep us, please keep me or keep us updated. Tell us if she's getting any better. 5 or 6 months? Like, no wait, like hospitalized 4th, 5th time in 6 months? Like once a month, basically? That is harsh. And like, I do honestly hope that she'll be getting better. Like, I hope these are progressively going back to the hospital, but things are better each time. Right? Like, I hope that's what's going on. But if not, like as I said, my thoughts are with you and with your family. If anything happens, I hope that you're aware that we're there. We'll help in any ways that we can. Man, let's just silently put in your music requests now here. Marvel Black Panther music video. The Black Panther is ready for you. Where's that come from? That is some amazing animation. Was that like an actual cartoon or like animated movie that happened? Very awesome series. Huh. I never heard of this. Interesting. D has a music request. Everyone likes Friday, right? Well, we're gonna see later. The question: 1. From time to time, the controller you use starts acting up and you switch. So you still have any functional original Super Nintendo controllers? Have you tried using SNES to USB adapter? No, not at this point anymore. I know controllers are officially from Nintendo are known to be extremely durable. They're still not immortal. Like, they're gonna be able to live through impacts and whatnot, but eventually anything is going to give in to stress in terms of mechanical objects. And I just do not have any surviving Super Nintendo controllers anymore, unfortunately. 2. I just took a look at the Maggle X Redux thing on Horikawa's channel, and I saw the videos were frighteningly smooth. Is there any particular reason you don't upload videos in 60 FPS? Have you done this and I just didn't realize? I mean, besides the fact they look freaky when you're not expecting it, I didn't even realize that game ran in 60 FPS before. So something you gotta consider is that if you put a video in 60 FPS when you're used to putting it out in 30, you literally double the size file because you double the amount of frames. I'm already uploading videos in 720p, so like they're already can get kind of big. I have to remind you all that I live in Canada, and so I have Canadian restrictions on my internet. I still have a bandwidth cap. With your help, I have upgraded my internet. Like soon when I start to just do this full time. I did upgrade internet to the maximum amount that I can, like for basically a single consumer. Like basically the next step up would be to go into basically commercial internet, and that is a kind of expense I don't think I could really realistically get into. And I feel like that would be necessary in order to be able to afford to upload twice a day, daily, videos that can go up to 20 minutes and 60 FPS. It's just the reality of where I live. that in time. Like, that would take a while to put online too. Like, it doesn't help that, part of this because, I also use for recreation my internet. So it kind of serves a dual purpose, so maybe that's not fair in a sense. But that's the prime reason why that happens. Why I still upload at 30 FPS on Polka cover, really? That's pretty amusing. Yeah, so I was about to say something, but then I got distracted. This is pretty funny. Well, I'm sure I'm gonna remember. 3. If you, raocow, were the saucepan, someone else was the Patreon creator that answered questions every week, what would you ask? If you need a specific person in mind, how about the Mother Basements guy? Well, to be perfectly honest, if I were the saucepan, I would just, enjoy things quietly and not really speak out ever at any time. Because that's the kind of person I am. It's not that I'm not curious, but I tend to just kind of let people give away what they want to say at their own pace. Which would make for, the Patreon videos pretty boring if everyone was like me. But at the same time, there's a reason. No, the world is full of different people, and I admit this, and I have noticed this throughout time and space. Basically, I'm just the kind of guy, I am naturally curious, but I like to leave people have their space. And I'm glad to answer stuff when people, directly ask something, my opinion on something or whatever. But it's not something that, even if I'm curious, I'm gonna approach someone to talk about. That's just how I am. And I mean, I kind of assume that people would pick up the slack, and they do, and everything works out, and everything is a well-formed little circle with the nest pattern and 2 other smaller circles in it, placed in a way that splits space in an even way. Holy cow! Pizza Pony has a zillion amount of things to say, so let's go. Pizza Pony, I missed last week because I had long night's work last Saturday night and I went straight to sleep when I got home. So I'll be making up for that this week. Also, something semi-important. I don't know if it's been with all the Patreon videos, but for some, it's very obvious that whatever method you're using to record the request music, only one speaker is being recorded, greatly gimping any music that's stereo. So I want to fix that if you can. So the reality, basically, just to answer on that real quick, basically, one of my speakers does not work very well, and I need to reach back and gotta jiggle on one of the wires for it to work at all. When I'm doing Patreon videos, I am recording straight from my speakers for a simple reason that I'll be jumping around between thing to thing, and I can't really be recording Chrome while jumping around different things. Like, I could, but it could get messy. And these are meant, because every time, as soon as I'm done, I process them as quick as I can. I put them on as early as I can. They're made to be done very quickly. They're kind of like commando-style videos. So I record directly from my speakers. And, yeah, something or another. But mostly yes. No, but... And yeah, I would just basically need to remember to double check to make sure that said speaker is working correctly. I just would need to remember to do that as part of my daily routine, which I'm not very good at, but I'm going to try and keep in mind. Phew. Music! Maple Stories music really started to get epic around the time I quit, but the new zones were way above my level. I'm going to be listening to more Maple Story. The Story of a Maple Tree. Grandmaster's Gauntlet. Oh, these chairs. And there's an emergency music. Plays this if all music hasn't played out already. Play until cessation. Well, I mean, we'll see. Alright, so question Here's where the the magic happens. I need to read these correctly. One, what video game is most unlike what you LP right now? Keep in mind it doesn't just include the latest competitive FPS game, but also pinball games, DDR, with actual dance pad, skateboard games, super grindy MMORPGs, MOBAs, train simulator, plumbers don't wear ties, etc. I would go with that one classic handheld, like, LED game where you got, like, this race car and you need to go between the lanes, and because otherwise you might crash into the other cars. That one. That is the most unlike any of the games I'm playing right now. 2, about my... either that or, like, a 4X game. 2, about my paragraph about RPGs 2 weeks ago. I wanted to talk about it because the way you talked about RPGs before the vote, you really made it sound like you were never going to try to LP an RPG ever. And I feel like at least one needs a chance to prove that it can make for a fun playthrough. If it helps you, don't think of completing a game normally as the end goal. Have finishing a great LP be your end goal. Show the world that no mere bout of entertainment can best you. You're gonna be king of the Let's Players. Hail to the king, baby. Well, to be fair, I have played RPGs in the past. Earthbound is an excellent game that I love, and Final Fantasy VI is in my top 10 video game of all video games. I know RPGs can be good. I just don't know if the barriers are worth climbing to make a good LP out of. If I was doing something screenshotted, that would be a completely different story. But I don't want to do a screenshot LP. Those are so much work. I've tried twice before, years and years ago. To be fair, I didn't make it really easy on myself because I was also incorporating hand-drawn art, but nonetheless, there's just so much work. 3, would you die for your country? Not likely. Canadians aren't really that patriot. I think we have a quiet pride in our country. We're not really rambunctious about it. We're not really, we don't go that far about it. 4, do meter sticks in Canada have imperial measurements on the side? In case you didn't know, pretty much all rulers in the US have both imperial and metric on them, so it's not hard to roughly convert one to another. Not to mention, most thermostats have both FNC, and speedometers in cars have MPH and KPH. And with computers today, any conversion is just one Google search away. It's even built into Google search, no extra website required. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Rulers, if you got like a school kid's ruler, yeah, you're gonna have meters on one end and you're gonna get inches on the other. That's how I know that, 12 inches is roughly, which is a foot, I guess, is roughly 30 centimeters. But yeah, I mean, yes, they do. To answer your question, yes. 5, what kind of body language looks like don't give me Christmas presents? Hashtag making it the thing, hashtag Christmasgate. It's not body language, it's eyeball language. 6, how do you get your jollies? I don't think that's appropriate to answer here. 7, okay, oh boy. Comment bien être translate à la traduction de l'anglais vers le français? Insérez phrase compliquée ici. Mon chat nommé Timmy se promenait dans la grotte sombre pour aller à un concours de flexion quand tout à coup, des lances d'énergie pure pleuvaient du plafond scintillant sur le sol des marais comme dans le métro ci-dessous. Original text. How good is Google Translate at translating from English to French? Insert complicated sentence here. My cat named Timmy was walking through a dark cave to go to a flexing contest when suddenly a spear of pure energy rained down from a sparkling ceiling into the marsh-like underground floor below. Translate is alright, but it's not very good at the same time. To be fair, like, the statement you're making is a little abstract. It sounds like a Raukau quote, in other words, which means that, like, you can't really translate those because they don't make a whole lot of real-life sense. So it's hard to judge the quality of the translation. I mean, the basic Even though, okay, I was about to say the basic grammar is there, but it's not even true. Some of the verb tenses are really weird. If I were to throw out a translation real quick myself, I would go something like comment est la qualité de Google Translate pour faire la traduction entre français et l'anglais? Insérer une phrase compliquée ici. Mon chat nommé Tammy est en train de se promener dans une caverne sombre pour aller à un concours de flexion. Mais soudainement, il y a des... comment j'appellerais ça ici? Il y a des lances d'énergie pure qui ont commencé à tomber du plafond. Et c'est ça, les lances percutaient contre le sol. C'était comme c'est un sol un peu comme un marécageux. Marécageux, c'est pas un vrai adjectif. Mais c'est ça. Yeah, but the problem was I was doing it live, but you can tell where my word choice was different, except for the last sentence there. I was wondering if marécageux, or another word, marsh-like, was actually a word. Because like in English, in French you can kind of like take a verb and then add a termination to it and kind of like change it from a verb to an adjective or noun to an adjective or other things like that. Something you can do in French, something you can do in English, but normally those are not actual real words that normally you should use. What even am I going on about at this point? The world has forgotten all meaning. Doom! Oh man. 1M&M. E1M1. It's one M&M. It is the best one. It's the only one left in the bag. Hey, I noticed French has a space between words and punctuation. Explain this madness. It doesn't anymore. Basically. It used to be an old rule back in the time of typewriters, like before computers. But no one does this anymore. If you see someone doing that, it's because it's been written by an old person that doesn't know how things get done. In real French nowadays, you're gonna get one space after a comma or period, but you get that in English too. 9. Have you tried a Thrills gum? The gum that tastes like soap? No, I have not. Didn't know that was a thing, if it's a thing. 10. If I torrent you and secretly send you My Little Pony movie, will you watch it and give it your thought? If I can watch it from my own home, I'll give it more consideration than if I have to walk over to the movie theater. But don't expect much. Let's put that down as a maybe. 11. Oh yeah, going to the casino again in June for my mom's birthday, so you can expect another video of possible winnings from you from around then. It's either the first or second Saturday, I forgot which. Good job. But alright, looking forward to casino video again. 12. Do you think we should further explore the deep oceans of Earth or continue space exploration? Which would you like to see in person? Personally, I think it would be more interesting to go into the deep sea, because it'd be nice to learn more about our actual planet. I mean, learning about space is cool and important, but I feel like learning about, the fact that there's a big chunk of our planet that we still don't know anything about is pretty freaky. And yeah, I would love to see some deep sea nonsense. Like, you've got deep sea fishes, are like, some of them look even more alien than what you'd find in like sci-fi, like hard sci-fi and stuff. It's great, it's fascinating, and we just know nothing about it. And this week, Pizza Pony isn't finishing things. White Yoshi Egg is the one that ends it with, what's the reason you switched from Firefox to Chrome? I don't know why, but not say I don't know why I changed from one to the other. No, I don't know why, but Firefox Flash just kind of stopped working one day. And I mean, I could, in theory, just probably reinstall Firefox and I'd be fine. But I was already kind of using Chrome from time to time, and I just kind of moved on completely to Chrome, and everything's been working good. That's all there is to it. And finally, also, do you remember my Nagel X2 level? I'll be really, really angry if you don't. Colon open parentheses. That got me wondering when I opened up your question this morning and I went to look in the Megalex 2 level, place, and I didn't see your name anywhere, so I think you just asked that, knowing fully well that you're not actually there. You know what? Since we're basically done, let's go take a look. I'm just gonna save this here. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna find that in my video game folder. Megalex 2. Like, if we go into the world, if we go into W, why Yoshi Egg isn't there? Like, well, he's not in episode 1. So let's check episode 2. And here we are. See, again. So I think you're just going to make me feel bad about myself. Your ruse didn't work, though. Unless your level just kind of completely disappeared into the others, which is even stranger. Which I mean is just flat out strange. Like, it's there's not any comparative there. It's just, that would be weird if your level just disappeared, but I think you're trying to pull a ruse on me, and for that, I'm closing the video. That and all. So we went through everything. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up, watching, for participating, for making this possible. Mostly for making this possible. Thank you all. I cannot thank you all enough, which is why I thank you all a little bit every week. This is raocow. See y'all next time, y'all.